Hey, what's up, classic TV fans? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about I Love Lucy, more specifically about several bloopers that happen in just one episode, the first that was ever filmed of I Love Lucy. Now, I'll bring you facts and really cool information about this episode, but I'm really going to focus on the one where Ricky gives her the sedative and really figure out who actually took the sedative and how big of a blooper that was. Before I get into that, hey, I have a little secret for you. I'm giving away the entire I Love Lucy third season. All the episodes, every single one. Season 3 is really awesome. We have Aunt Martha's old-fashioned salad dressing. We have the dollar bill that's worth so much money. Bonus bucks, home movies, so many really cool episodes. So make sure you participate in the giveaway. How can you do this? It's free of charge to do so. You don't have to pay anything. Just make sure to watch the entire video to see how you can enter. Now let's begin by looking at this episode. It's a very interesting one because it comes chronologically, or it aired chronologically as the 4th episode of I Love Lucy. But in fact, it was the first one recorded, the first one filmed. Now, it was the only I Love Lucy episode out of the 179 half-an-hour episodes in which 4 cameras was used, not 3. Every single I Love Lucy episode, they used the 3 camera system, but in the first one, the trial was, let's use 4. The problem is there was so much film, and it was so complex to edit that it took them essentially weeks and weeks longer than if they just used 3 cameras. So they decided after that, you know what, let's ditch one of the cameras, just use 3. So essentially this episode has more multiple shots that you can look at. Now I'm beginning to show you some screenshots of the episode, and I noticed this blooper. There's actually 2 in one scene in the Ricardo's bedroom. And it's one where Lucy is reading the Mockingbird mystery book, and she's dipping the crackers or some type of wheat thins inside, right, the cold cream, and it's a little bit of a joke. She's supposed to put it in the cheese. If you look out the window, point it to you, there's a straight pole here. It's not a plant, it's not a tree. In fact, it's a lighting rig. It's a lighting rig that was used, and you can even see like some of the wiring and so forth. Essentially, it's a pole there. The idea is that they are on the 4th floor looking down an apartment complex, but that's not true. And accidentally, the camera caught the lighting pole. If we continue, Ricky comes in with the sign announcing, his Tropicana work and what he's doing at the nightclub. And they spell Ricky Ricardo wrong. If you don't look closely, you'll miss it. There's actually 2 C's in this one in Ricky Ricardo. I don't know why they do that. Ricardo should have 1 C. That is, of course, unless you're Daniel Ricardo. Now, continuing on, this episode aired November 5th, 1951, and it was filmed September 8th, 1951. Now, the whole premise of this episode is a misunderstanding in which Lucy believes that Ricky is trying to murder her. Now, there's some things like in Three's Company where there are misunderstandings in which she thinks that he's going to do something to her, and she takes all these crazy precautions like putting frying pans all over her, and then she even thinks that there's this trick dog gun that she's going to use. She thinks that's for her, and she even thinks that he's making a list of wives to replace her after she is gone, but those are just dogs that he's using in a nightclub act. Now, what's great about this episode is that, well, it's fairly rare. They don't show it on TV because of the premise, but even so, it's pretty funny, and we can understand that the Mertzes are not even as involved as they were in many other episodes. I do need to mention there is a scene with Fred giving Ricky a Mickey to calm Lucy down, and a Mickey being a mild sedative. Some people, of course, don't like that concept, but what is important about that scene is that Ricky uses that sedative and puts it in a glass of club soda or just soda water. Now, what's really interesting is that he gives it to her for her to drink so that she knocks out, so that she goes to sleep and just relaxes for a little bit. Lucy thinks it's going to kill her. It really doesn't kill her, in fact, but I want to follow this cup and really see who actually was supposed to drink it. Did Lucy drink it at the end? And what's really interesting is that Ricky, we see here, he's mixing it and he's holding it basically in his left hand where the ring is. When Lucy comes out, he tries to hand it to her, and she doesn't want to take that one. She wants to take the other cup. Now there's a little bit of dialogue that continues. We can still follow the cup. I'll keep pointing out the cup with the sedative, okay? I think that's really important. I'll keep it consistent, and I'm just following it throughout. It's set on the table. Now what happens, Lucy switches it. Essentially, she puts it on her side, and they have a little dance. So there's a blooper within a blooper. This is another blooper where they begin to dance, and you can see where the wall ends. The set finishes, and you can see into the Ricardo's bedroom. The cameraman notices and quickly pans back to the other side. Now, once they get back into their places, again, Ricky switches them when he tries to distract Lucy about this so-called spider. So in fact, Ricky ends up holding the cup with the sedative. Now Lucy drinks her cup, which technically has nothing in it if we've been following them correctly, which we have. She drinks it, there's no sedative, and Ricky is in fact the one who actually gets it knocked out of his hand. So no one drank the sedative. So you may think, well, then Lucy wouldn't have been sleepy. But yeah, she knocks out onto the couch, even though she technically didn't drink it, so that would be a blooper. And then later on, if we go into the scene where Lucy and Ethel go to the club and meet Ricky and confront him about what he's doing, and she holds the prop gun, Lucy yawns. Now, when she is yawning, why would she yawn if she didn't have that sedative? Maybe she was tired and so forth, but the idea in the story was that she was supposed to drink the sedative. And look at Ethel, she's yawning too. That was not part of the script. Why? It doesn't make sense for both of them to yawn. It's that yawning is contagious, and while they were filming, Lucy faked the yawn, and to Vivian, that was contagious. So we see her yawn, and she kind of turns to the side, which is very interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked all the bloopers, and finally, I revealed who was the one who drank the sedative. No one, even though Lucy faked it through the script. So I just think they stood on the wrong side after they danced. Even though they practiced, they stood on opposite sides and they didn't do the sedative little bit correctly. Now, I know a lot of you want to know how to win the I Love Lucy Season 3 DVD with all the episodes. Well, it's multiple DVDs with all the episodes. You have to be a subscriber. So many people who watch the channel and watch faithfully, and I appreciate that, are not subscribed. So be sure to subscribe to be eligible. That's the only way you can be eligible, and it's free to do so. You also have to hit the like button, and down in the comments below, just write the word blooper. If blooper is in your comment, you can write whatever you want and you can be eligible if you have those three. And finally, there's a link in the description. You must click on that, provide just some simple basic information so that when I do the random picking, I know how to contact you and send the DVD free of charge. I'll pay shipping, don't worry about that. Thanks so much for the support as always, everyone. I do really appreciate it. Hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time very soon, and don't forget, be hopeful. Thank you to everyone who supports me, especially my Diamond tier patrons: Vito L, David D, Sally N, Ricky, Citizen Kane 359, Kevin K, Greg S. Thank you as well to my new Gold tier patrons, Jennifer P and Scott F. To be listed here, check out the links below for my Patreon.